Prior to early 1971, the UK used a non-decimal currency system. England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland used pounds, shillings, and pence, with the stylized L for pounds, S for shillings, and D for the pennies. These letters stood for Libra, Solidus, and Denarius, the Latin names for pounds, shillings, and pence, respectively. Confused yet? It all sounds very weird through the haze of time, but I can assure you as a kid in Scotland, it was just the way things were, but I didn't know any different. As a pretty avid coin collector in my youth, I was certainly aware of other European countries using currencies that were invariably based upon the decimal system, but it honestly didn't register in my developing brain that the UK was out of step by not doing that. So, not only were we using 240 pennies in a pound and 12 pennies in a shilling, but we also had a lot of coins. I'm old enough to remember seeing farthings occasionally, a small coin worth 1/4 of a penny. Remember the odd-looking penny farthing bicycle? It was named that because the mismatched wheels looked a bit like a penny coin and a farthing side by side. See, here's the rundown. We had the tiny farthing that I mentioned, 1/4 of a penny, a halfpenny or halfpenny, a penny, a 12-sided 3-penny coin, colloquially called a threepence, and a 6-penny piece or sixpence. Then the shilling, equivalent to 12 pennies, the 2-shilling coin, aka the florin, then the half-crown, which was worth 2 shillings and 6 pence. There was also a crown coin worth 5 shillings, although I only ever saw a couple of those. Like the farthing, they were pretty rare when I was growing up. After that, the paper money started. A 10-shilling note, the so-called 10-bob note, and after that with a pound note, £5 note, £10 note, etc., etc. Lastly, there was the quirky guinea, spelled the same as the country, which was worth 21 shillings, so a bit more than a pound. I never saw a guinea, which was a gold coin from back in the 1800s. I'm also pretty vague on why it was even still a thing in the 1960s. The only place I ever recall seeing guineas mentioned were in upmarket clothing stores and maybe jewelers. All of that rather charming Britishness was swept away on February 15th, 1971, during D-Day, or Decimalisation Day. The transformation came with military precision. February was chosen because it was generally the quietest time of year for banks, shops, and transport organizations, hopefully minimizing the anticipated chaos. This enormous change required one of the biggest publicity campaigns Britain had ever seen, which, to be honest, I kind of don't really remember. Afterwards, the old coins were slowly withdrawn from circulation, and Britain joined Europe and most of the rest of the world in using a decimal money system. During this time, the UK was also making a more ponderous move to the metric system for weights and measures, but that took another 20 years or so to become required by law. I left the UK in 1982, so I effectively missed that particular transition. I still have a few old British coins rattling around in my sock drawer, and they admittedly look weird and foreign to me now. I still have an odd affection towards them, though. I suppose because they were an integral part of growing up in Scotland. It's hard to completely forget things like that. So that's another video in the can. If you found this informative or interesting, please consider liking and subscribing down below. And remember, be excellent to each other.